Hello and welcome to a Hello World tutorial for Anchor, which basically means that we're going to go through installing Anchor, which is it's not a totally complicated process, but there's a few quirks. And then we're going to just make a Solana smart contract, put some data on it, and then read the data using JavaScript client. Simple as. All right, so just to do everything from scratch as much as possible, gonna make a new what are these things called? New droplet somewhere close to me. Actually, I wonder if I could change the name of this. That's a terrible name. Here we go. What are we gonna call this? Anchor tutorial. Perfect. Works for me. All right, copy that. All right, let me just do vim sage config. We got tutorial. All right. I already recorded a video, but it just didn't bloody work. So recording got washed. Let's just do this. See, first time logging in. I like using Biobu. I also don't like seeing all of these status notifications. We turn this off. Load average logo. And even though I've turned off date and time, pretty sure they're still going to be there. That's what happened last time. Yeah, well, whatevs. Actually, probably only need one window. Rightio. Okay, yeah, and I want to do seto-vi. Cool, that's his personal thing. All right, let's go through installing dependencies. All right, perfect, easy enough. First off, just install Rust. Just hit enter, aborts installation. No idea why. Let's try this again. Okay, type in 1. Okay. Typed in 1. Last time it was the opposite way around. This time, who knows what's going on. It's going to be a lot of just waiting around for things to like compile and load. The actual programming part is going to be pretty quick. Okay, so Rust installed. Let's get those other lines in as well. Okay, looks good. 1.6.6 is not the latest version of Solana, but it's probably the one that works with the current version of Anchor. Now, okay, so here's where things get a bit murky. Installing Mocha, installing Anchor. I'm pretty sure that we need a newer version of Node. How does Google this? Update Node version. Oh yeah, okay. Here's a tutorial I already went through. So just happens to be the way that's best to do it on the particular Ubuntu thing that we installed. Okay, what are we installing? We're doing Rust component. You know what? We can parallelize our time. So sudo apt update. Let's do that. Cool. Okay. We're also going to do. Sorry. We're also going to do all of this shit. Okay, that's going to be. Okay, hold on a sec. That's going to upload a whole bunch of stuff. And while it's doing that, we're going to, in parallel. Oh, it might not like this thing. Two things at once. I'm probably going to cancel that. Okay, so let's cancel that. So essentially, yes. I think that the version of Node that comes with these Ubuntu clients or whatever they're called is like 10, but Armani or Anchor in general is using 14.7. So we are just going to upgrade to 14.7 and all will be well with the world. Okay, so let's just hang out. No, friggin' still locked. All right. I've never tried to do parallel stuff before. Probably should have done the other first because I was pretty sure that we could have installed the Node stuff first, and then we could do Node and apt-get at the same time. All right, I will just speed up time if this is slow or breaks. All right, let's try this again. Well, I guess this is the quintessential haste makes waste. I was trying to be too quick. Installed version being locally modified, hit OK, keep local version currently installed. Yeah, sure, whatever. Okay, excellent. So what are we doing right now? Again, we're just still following through the installation instructions for upgrading Node. That's sort of where we're at. Sort of unofficial installation instructions. Pending. Because we open your terminal. To use it now. Yeah, whatever. Looks fine. Cool. nvm.version. Perfect. nvm-ls. And then remote. Let me just to check it's there. And then I'm just going to do nvm install 14.7 because that's just, I searched Discord and that's the version Armani said he had. So that is good for me. Now I could npm install these globally, but my experience is that I just install them locally in the files or in the folders for the projects that I'm working on, because I just don't know. It just doesn't. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how Node global path works. I mean, I'm fairly like proficient with some of this stuff, and I know how paths work and how to add things, but Node path has just never gotten it to work really. So if you know that, then you can probably avoid most of this. All right. So yeah, that looks pretty good. So now we've just got a cargo install Anchor, which is just going to take absolutely fucking forever. And fingers crossed, it does it in one go, because if it doesn't do it in one go, it's going to take another 10 minutes to compile. So let's just quickly go over what we did. We installed Rust, then we installed Solana, and then we kind of panicked before getting here, and we went through, I don't know, whatever this is called, how to update Node.js to the latest version on Linux. We installed NVM, did all that shite, and then we updated to 14.7. And then we came back here and made sure to update and install all of the different packages that you need on Ubuntu, particularly. And then once we'd done that, then we finally went and did cargo install for Anchor, which, as you can see, 535 packages. It's going to take, yeah, look at it, 1648 now. I'm going to say at least 10 minutes. Could be a little bit less. So hopefully I can speed this up. Amazing. And there you have it. Maybe a little bit closer to 15 minutes and 10, but yeah, that's Anchor compiled first time, thank God. The key to remember here is that, particularly for this, Ubuntu Droplet, I upgraded the node before installing Anchor or compiling it or whatever, because there's some dependency, some libsSHL dependency that Node installs or requires, which is something that I've run into a couple of times. So we've installed the command line tool. So actually I could just say anchor and it shouldn't, it shouldn't give an error. And then the next step, I think we have, it's just apt-get, okay, so we also have to install npm, which for some bizarre reason is just not even there. Okay, so let's install Node as well. Sorry, or Node Package Manager as well. And I think that's pretty much, I think we're pretty much ready to go. Once this thing finishes. Oh, actually, yeah. So of course we're gonna have to go to anchor and just git clone it. Just to show you that it's empty, in case you need any more proof. All right, trust but verify, cd anchor, cd examples. I don't know. All right, so what are we gonna do? We're gonna do anchor init. What's it gonna be called? Meme num, because we're gonna create an account, put some data on it, and we're gonna read some data off that, and it'll be something. I mean, whatever. You'll see. It'll be meme related. Cool. Okay, so that was installing Node Package Manager. cd meme num. Now, like I said, I am somewhat lazy. In that I have not quite figured out how to do the whole node path universal thing. So I'm not going to be doing that. So you need to install Mocha and you need to install Project Serum Anchor in the folder that you intend to run them. And set-ovi is just because I like using Vim, what are they called, key bindings on the command line. Okay, I think that's pretty much good to go. Okay, so now we're going to open up Visual Studio, if we can get a new one. Get a new window open. Okay, current window to host, tutorial. What are we going to look for? Yeah, this should work. Meme num examples. Let's just do open. Anchor, examples, meme num. Okay. Perfect. And while we do some writing code, anchor test, no such command as BPF. Well, one thing that I do remember that I did wrong last time was that it does require Solana keygen.new. So we can certainly do that. Solana key, oh, this is bullshit. This is just because I haven't exported it. So anyway, all you have to do is just source, I think it's this profile. Yeah, see now Solana's there. So yeah, don't forget to source your profile because it's just got this thing where it exports the whatever the current release is to the command line or to the path. Cool. Okay, so that's gonna start compiling. Release it should, I hope. It's not normally what it looks like when it's actually running properly. Patience. This is be patient. All right, enough of this node modules migration shite. Okay, we've got tests and we got programs. Those are the two main things in Anchor. So we got lib.rs, which is sort of a blank page. Same with meme number, just sort of initialized and ready to go. Okay, this is missing info because of stupid lifetimes that Rust makes you use. I mean, they're not stupid. They're probably pretty good, but they definitely are a little bit confusing to start off with. Okay, there you go. That's compiling as it should. All right, so how are we going to go about this? So let's have an account and just call it, I don't know, meme num account. And it's just going to be of type account, info. Actually, no, we're going to call it's going to be a program account because it's going to store data. Program accounts are accounts owned by the program, and they also have a struct attached to them. So I think we just call this one meme num in big capitals. And because we're initializing it, Anchor wants us to tell it to init, which just does stuff like check that it's empty, and also it checks that the it checks that the amount of Solana or LAMP ports on the account are sufficient that it is rent exempt, that it has enough LAMP ports that it will not disappear, because it has 2 years worth of rent in there. Read about it. I don't know. It's a bit expensive at the moment, in my opinion. So rent is just a sysvar. It's also going to be type info or whatever info thing, and then it's going to be rent. Cool. All right, and now we're going to make the public struct. Actually, it's going to be an account. I think that's the attribute that it uses. Pub struct meme num, and they're just going to have a pub meme num u64. Probably is okay. I haven't gotten any errors yet, which is, I'm always kind of curious why this doesn't, why it's a bit slow. Cool. So if you want to attach data to an account that you've loaded or initialized or whatever, you just do it like this. You do let meme num account. So you just assign it to a variable and you use and mute so that it's a mutable reference. And then you use context as ctx up here. And then you've got in the context, you've got a list of accounts. These sort of are the list of accounts that have been loaded. And then we just access meme num account. And I think that's it. I think that's all we have to do. Meme num accounts, ctx.accounts.meme num account. Should be okay. All right, and then we are just going to hard code something stupid, which is just assign. No. What am I doing here? Meme num account dot. So we're going to assign it to the meme num variable on meme num account. And I think that's pretty much everything that we need in our quote unquote hello world. Info unused parameter. Thank you. That must be why they leave it out. Interesting. So I reckon the reason that they leave this out is because it's an unused parameter and it gives a compile error. That is funny. Okay. So, all right, what do we do now? So we want to create this thing. So we're going to do constant. Don't really know why it's constant, but maybe people know JavaScript better than I do, but this is what I've seen them doing. I'm going to call it meme num account equals, I think it's anchor dot keypair, web3 dot keypair dot generate. Okay, that seems to be IntelliSensing me in the right direction. Okay, so all we had to do was to just generate that. So all that does is generate a key pair, which is the public key and the private key. And then initialize has no arguments, but it does need accounts. Actually, maybe I'll just do this on the top layer. So it does need accounts, in which we're going to pass it in. And it's also going to need some instructions in order to initialize the meme num account. This is just how Solana works, I guess. And you need signers because in order to create the account, like initialize it with LAMP ports and shit, you have to prove that you own it. So we're going to create an account or create instructions for creating an account of this particular size. So Anchor is quite smart. It knows that memenum is a struct with one variable on it of a U64, which is however many bytes a U64 is, and it makes sure that you have enough data to store that, plus the 8 bytes that Anchor uses for program accounts, just to make sure that you're sending in the right data. So I think for this, it says program.accounts. I think it's program.account. No accounts? All right, we'll see. Program.account. Memenum account. Is it called memenum account here? Yeah, it is memenum account. And then I think, let me look this up. Let me just look this up quickly. Well, I'll show you what I would look up, because I wrote this example. So idiopool.js. So how do I do it there? I mean, nothing too much has changed about Anchor since they did this. Create instruction is what I'm going for. So program.account.name of your variable, create instruction, and then you input the key pair or the public key. And then you have to have a wait at the start because of something to do with how it works. I don't really know. So, okay, let's do this then. Await program.account.memenum. Can't even remember now. Oh, create instruction, that's right. Create instruction, and then we'll just pass it in memenum account again. Perfect. And then signer is just memenum account. Now, I've got commas after these things. Yeah. So we got accounts, instructions, and signers. So accounts, we already showed you here. There are 2 accounts, right? There's memenum account and there's rent. So mostly everything in Anchor is considered to be a public key. So you need to pass in the public key of this, not the whole account. And also notice that we switch from snake case to camel case when we're working in JavaScript or TypeScript, which is probably what I ought to be using, and maybe you ought to be using too. Rent. Okay, this is in anchor.web3. I think it's sysvar. Sysvar rent pub key. Perfect. See this public key. So that's the basic thing to do to create. Well, to generate a key pair, instructions gets run before the RPC call. So it'll put some data, or sorry, it won't put some data. It'll put enough LAN ports into the account so that it can store that much data. Then initialize will check that it has the right amount of LAN ports for the amount of data, and we've already hard coded putting some data on that. So now the final part is just to say, okay, have we put the data on there? Is it right? So we're just going to use an assert. So we just have to make sure to import assert. Cool. And then we just do assert. Okay. Oh, actually no. So before we assert, we have to load, right? So we're going to do constant, because again, who knows why you do constants, but here we are. All right, let's call this memenum account data. And that's going to be equal to program.account.memenum account. I think this is how you load it. I think you just put in the public key. I'm not 100% sure on this one. Because I don't have this sort of I haven't used this load data approach before. For example, nothing here. The only thing that I load data with is with like get token account, and that just allows you to access all the information. So we have to have our own version of get token account, and Anchor again makes this relatively easy by automatically generating these things. So I think the syntax is program.account. Here it is. So data is the public key, or the struct in your Anchor program, in your Rust, and then you do get the public key of that. So that should work for what we've got. So we've got program.account.memenum account, and then memnum account.public key. And fingers crossed that will load the data on it. And then we have memnum stored on that struct. So we're just going to hit memnum, probably lowercase. Okay, and then we're going to just check that that equals to, because it's a big number, so we just do new anchor.bn, and then it's 420. Cool. Okay, so let's test that. Excellent. Unable to read key profile. All right, that's kind of the first thing to deal with. Unable to read key profile. All right, let's just go back to this minimal example. I would have thought keygen.new would have done this already, but I guess not. Failed to run test Mocha. No such file directory. What is this? npm install Mocha? Maybe I just forgot to install it. Failed to run test Mocha. No such file or directory. This is a new one. This is a new error to me. It's not apt install Mocha. All right, let's double check what this is supposed to be. Maybe if we do the universal installation, it'll make sure that it's on our path, or that it's a whatever. And that's, oops, fuck that. Okay, oh yeah. Okay, and then just kind of sneaky second installation, see what happens, Mocha test. Okay, well that's a different kind of error, but that's a good kind of error. Excellent, okay. Cannot read, well, I mean, well, number one, it's undefined, and number two, I've spelt instruction wrong. So what's going wrong here? Program.account, memnum account should be fine. Program.account or memnum account, and then, well, create instruction is terrible. Let's try that without the spelling mistake. See what happens. Cannot read property create instruction of undefined. Yeah, so it's still saying that this is undefined. So saying that program.account. Okay, let me just double check then for create instruction. Program.account dot whatever that is dot create instruction. Instructions. Okay, await program.account. Memnum account. So what we can also do is just to show you what the IDL looks like. Memnum account. So this is different accounts, and there's the struct, although it says it's an account as well. Wonder if I no, these all seem fine. This all sort of lines up. Oh, actually, let me double check the line. Yeah, no, it is create instruction of undefined. Okay, well let's quickly do console.log program.account. Is it? No, program's there. Program's there. Okay, well, let's just see what happens. Program is not defined. How can program not be defined? Oh, well, that's for one thing, it's there. Okay, so that'll fix that. Perfect. So we got memnum. Interesting. So memnum, it must assume that if you've got memnum account, then this should also be called memnum account. So we're just going to rename this shit memnum account because it seems to expect that there's some uniformity around that. Yeah, nothing else should really change. Yeah, cannot read property equals of undefined. That seems fine to me. Meme_num account data. So either that's empty or that's wrong. Two things. So meme_num shouldn't be wrong. Meme_num account also all seems fine. Cool. So that's going to be wrong then. Oops. Meme_num account data. Oh, promise pending. It's my usual shite. Okay, and that should, I mean, well, let's see what we get. One passing. Okay, that's it. How long did that take? Well, 46 minutes. Probably edited down to 30, maybe less. Roughly what I was expecting. But that's your hello world. That's your, create the key pair, create the account, initialize the data on the account. Anchor makes sure that it's empty. It adds like a 8 bytes at the start, which is a hash of meme_num account, to make sure that every time another meme_num account is passed in, it has the correct 8 bytes at the start. We've got rent here to make sure that it's like rent exempt, and then also account init also checks that it's empty, which is why we have the instructions happen in the same transaction as initialize. So these get run in the same transaction, but prior to program.rpc.initialize. And then finally, we use the, internal anchor magicalness to load up meme_num account using its public key. It knows what the struct looks like, and we can access the variable meme_num on it and just verify that it equals 420. And I don't know, that looks pretty good to me. I'm pretty happy with that as a example of create data on an account and then load it up somewhere else and just read it and double check it. I hope that you enjoyed.